Good morning, friends. Happy Monday. I guess I should say welcome to welcome back or welcome to my channel. I've got to figure out how to nail that whole intro thing down. I'm Corey. I am the owner of Two Little Knots, a small business where I crochet lots of really cute stuff for little ones of all ages. I will think of a snazzy intro and work on that in the coming weeks, I suppose. You can see my straw here. I've got coffee this morning because I had to run out and get some medicine. I don't know if you can hear it, probably. Hopefully it'll get better as the week goes on, but over the weekend I came down with a cold and I felt so awful. I think I spent the majority of yesterday morning just kind of resting. I was hanging out on the couch and just scrolling on my phone and resting. And then on Saturday, I honestly can't even remember. I think it started Friday night. I could tell it was coming on. And then Saturday morning, yes, I woke up and I felt not great. So Saturday, I'm pretty sure Friday night I didn't do very much, and then Saturday we didn't do very much either. We had to do some grocery shopping, and then that was pretty much it. I had planned on finally taking down our Christmas tree because that's the last thing standing from all of our Christmas decorations, and I didn't get to it. I was hoping to try to do it at some point over the weekend, like I said. And yesterday came, and then I felt pretty bad yesterday morning. And then yesterday afternoon I was working and the time just went by so fast and I was like, I just don't feel like it. So that's on my list of things to get done this week because I love, love, love Christmas. If you know me personally, if you've spoken to me, I love Christmas. I put our tree up so early. And normally I am really sad to take stuff down and see the season go and get back into normal life. And I do kind of feel that way. But also at the same time this year, I'm ready. I'm ready for a new start. I'm ready to get going on things for this year. So that will probably be on my to-do list for tomorrow while my youngest is home with me from preschool. So anyway, so that was our weekend. I also finished up another brain fog. This is the second time it's hitting me this morning. I finished up another friend from my 100 Acre Wood collection that I am doing this month. And let's see if I can give you guys a little sneak. I am so excited. I started this guy. I kind of teased it in the last video. I was saying I couldn't decide who I wanted to start on, and then ultimately I decided to do Eeyore. And don't mind me, I'm just picking up all the fuzzies that need to come off from doing his hair, but here is his back, and I'm obsessed with how the little bow turned out. And then here he is from the front. Let me scooch back to show you. I was telling my husband the only thing that I'm not sure about is the ears. I might have to, let me see if I can hold him. I might have to tack the ears down. But I told my husband, I was like, I mean, he is a donkey and their ears are kind of wonky, which makes me think of the Wonky Donkey book. Oh my gosh. Anyway, but yeah, he's so cute. Here he is with Piglet. I think they're just precious. I already have started on the next character from this collection. He is almost done. I am just kind of flying straight through it to get them done because I am feeling the inspiration to start market prepping from all the other vlogs that I have been watching. I feel like my list is growing of things I want to make. So I want to get these knocked out so I can just do whatever. But I posted Piglet on Saturday on Instagram and people loved him so, so much. And I have a feeling this collection is going to get so much love. So I'm so grateful for that. I'm really grateful. I'm really excited to keep going on the characters. Also, while I have you here, if you watched last week's video, I showed you that I picked up this fabric from Hobby Lobby when I went yarn shopping for Rue. So I grabbed this last week and I grabbed this while I was there. I have been, while I wasn't feeling well yesterday, I'm gonna cut some of these frizz stuff off where it's fraying. While I wasn't feeling too hot yesterday, I was scrolling for pattern inspiration on Etsy, and I'm still undecided, to be honest with you, but I was thinking about maybe, because I have a full yard of it, I was considering either doing a little purse, because purses do really, really well in my shop, and I've never made a 100% fabric purse, but there were a few really cute patterns. I think it'll be tricky to line up the pattern perfectly on that, so that's my only concern, because I don't want, you know, to have part of it be upright and then part of it be upside down. So I'm still kind of, jury's still out on that one. But also I saw some really cute backpack patterns, which seems like a huge undertaking, but I told my husband, you know, what if I just did like a limited, like it was literally one backpack was available. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I posted the fabric last week, as I said I was going to. I posted it on my Instagram stories, and honestly, no one really had any ideas for me. I think because I didn't post a poll, I just was like, I don't know what to do with this. So actually I did get one response, and she said a lampshade, which, oh my gosh, that would be adorable as a lampshade, but that's not what I want to do with it. I want to try to make something usable. So I might brainstorm a little bit more today, post it back on stories with a poll, and kind of see what everyone is thinking. But that is about it in terms of catching you up from the weekend. Also, I did get an order for a bitty cow lovey. I plan on working on that this week and vlogging that, so you guys can come along with me as I take a break from my 100 acre friends and get that order taken care of. I'm really excited that the orders are still coming in this month, because typically January can be pretty quiet. If you're a business owner, you know that January and February usually starts to get pretty quiet in terms of sales. So I'm excited that everything is still, that there's still a few trickling in a little at a time. But yeah, so that's about it. Grab your coffee, your hooks, and something to work on, and let's get started. Happy Wednesday. I cannot believe the week is already half over, but at the same time, it feels like the week has been so long already and so short. But it is Wednesday. I didn't check in with you guys yesterday just because we kind of had a lot going on in the afternoon. And as I mentioned in my last video, I don't get a lot of work done when my youngest is home from preschool. So I showed you guys what I did get done. I got my order packaged up and put in the mail. And then I was working on the next 100-acre wood friend in the pickup line yesterday. And I actually got more footage than what I showed you guys, but the sun was so bright that the first part of the footage I was like glowing and my hands were glowing as I was working, and I thought this is so distracting, so I will work on getting a better angle the next time we have a nice sunny day when I'm working in the car in the afternoon. But I did show you guys where I was working on Tigger, and then so far this morning I've kind of taken it easy. After I took the girls to school, I did a little walk because I was feeling tired and I kind of just wanted to get it over with for the day. And then I have been doing the last step on Tigger to finish him up, which was just his nose. And you saw in that clip that I was kind of playing around with a couple of different yarns. I had Bernat blanket yarn, and I also had Loops and Threads Sweet Snuggles or something. I can't remember what it's called from Michaels, but I was looking at both of those because typically with chenille yarn, I don't really like mixing the blanket yarn texture with it, but ultimately, I liked the color a little bit better, so that's what I ended up going with for Tigger, and now he is officially done. I think he turned out so cute and sweet. My oldest said his tail needs to be springier, but that's very difficult to accomplish in a lovey. I still think he turned out very sweet. Let me show you him with Eeyore because I will be sharing these guys together. You can see I did do the same color on their nose, or the front of their face, if you want to call it that. In the pattern for these, the color that the designer uses is actually yellow, and I didn't quite like that. And when I looked at pictures of Tigger, I noticed that the vintage character had the cream colored nose and part of his face rather than the yellow, which is more of a modern version. And so I thought this should look okay even with the lighter color of his skin, and I think it turned out absolutely perfectly. I'm kind of pinching his arm there, but I think it turned out absolutely perfect. He's so cute. The ears look a little bit off. There we go. It just kind of depends on how they're sitting, I guess. But he turned out so cute. I am halfway done with this collection. I think next I'm probably gonna start on Rabbit maybe. I'm gonna work him up in this Premier Basic Chenille Brights in the color Banana. I had to order this because I didn't have any. I know Bernat has a yellow that's kind of similar to this, but I didn't have any or enough on hand. I don't typically use a lot of yellow like this, so I didn't have any to use for it. And I'm really disappointed because the texture feels rough, if that makes sense. It feels like it's going to be a little bit sticky, so I'm disappointed in that, but also I am a little bit curious to see how his size is going to turn out in comparison to the other characters that I've already done, just because this yarn is a little bit thinner. I think that sticky, not sticky per se, but that rough texture, if you know, you know, might help with loosening up my tension a little bit to work with it, and probably his size will end up being all right, but we'll see how that works out. After that, I'll have Rue, and then Pooh will be the last one that I work on, because of course he has to be the center of the whole thing. So he'll be the last one that I do. I will get Eeyore and Tigger posted today, both on Facebook and Instagram. And as I thought when I shared Piglet, he got so much love. The post is still getting quite a few views and likes, which I think is absolutely amazing. It's so cool to me that these characters are still so popular. I can't remember if I said it in my last video or not, but it's 100 years of Pooh this year, which I just think is so amazing because that was a show and characters that were near and dear to me when I was little. So that is what I have done today. That's what's on the agenda. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We're keeping an eye out if another order comes through on Etsy, because I did have someone reach out about getting a ladybug purse. They just needed to know if they could get it in time for what they needed it for. So right now I'm keeping an eye out for that, because if that comes in, that'll take precedent since they need it by a specific time. But that is how Wednesday is going, and let's see how much work we can get done before we have to go get my little from preschool. All right, it is Thursday morning now. I had originally wanted to check in with you guys yesterday after I got back from picking up both girls from school, but we actually had a fun little moment. We made some popcorn and played some Go Fish, both me and the girls, and we did that for a little while, and then it was just not the timing, I should say. So I decided I would just try to check in with you guys this morning. My little is upstairs playing, and I'm going to try to make this as fast as possible. In the last video of me working, I was working on this leg for Rabbit. I decided I would start Rabbit, and I took everything in the car with me to work on it while we were waiting to pick up my older daughter from school. And I feel like in the video, I don't know if it's going to come across with it being sped up and everything, but I was really struggling making this because, as I had said in my last talking video, I felt like the yarn was so rough and it was going to make it really difficult to work with, and that's exactly what it felt like. I was just having the most difficult time crocheting with this yellow yarn, and so I only managed to get this done because it was taking me a lot longer to kind of do the stitches. So I got this done. And then last night I sat down after the girls went to bed to get started working on the next leg. And when I finished the white part that I have here, I noticed that this foot was wrong because I hadn't done enough rows, and then this part is messed up too. So last night I ultimately decided I didn't want to frog this because I feel like when you frog the yarn, sometimes even just do it once, it kind of totally changes the way it looks. And I also was thinking with the texture being so rough, it's going to, sorry, she's just being a little crabapple, I guess. It's going to make it a headache to even frog. So I just started completely over on a whole nother foot and decided I would just make both of them, make this one over and then do the other one. So while I was working on that, I was really, really not having fun. Like, I don't know how to emphasize so much to you guys that this yarn is terrible. And I say that only on this color because I have so many other Premier Basics colors. Like, I think Rust is right there. I don't think, yeah, actually that's Mustard. Like, I have a ton in my closet. I really love the Premier Basics chenille, but this color is really, really rough, and I'm not sure why that is, but it was so bad that I actually came into the yarn room last night and dug out my little tiny scrap of, this is Bernat Baby Blanket in the color Buttercup, to see if it would be worth just buying a skein of this so I could redo the foot. Here's the problem I ran into. So I don't know how easy you're going to be able to tell, but let me hold this up close. This Bernat is just slightly more cool toned than the Premier Basics. And like back here, I don't feel like you can tell. In person, it's a bit more noticeable. Last night in the darker dim light, it was way more noticeable than I feel it is in person, but it's just enough that I really like this color more than this one for Rabbit. Am I being picky? Yes. Is it going to be worth it? Probably not. But yeah, I don't think I want to get another of this, especially because I looked it up on Amazon this morning, and getting a skein of this is $13.99, which is actually really frustrating because at Joann, we probably could have gotten it for less than $10. So that's really disappointing in its own way. But so I'm kind of on a pause with Rabbit right now. I can't decide if I should just tough it out. I feel like I did remake the legs and I got part of the body done before I ran out of that skein. But I completely lost my train of thought because my little one came down. But I think what I was saying was I kind of want to put Rabbit on a pause because I know that Michael's, so I've been using Demi Pearl. I had one right here. I used it for Tigger. I'm going to use it for Pooh, obviously. I know that they have a yellow in a somewhat similar shade. The only thing is I think it trends more to like a greenish color, but I know they have some, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the very few colors my Michaels has in stock of that yarn. So and then on top of that, I have also been using I have it right here, Baby Bee Snugs and Kisses from Hobby Lobby. I used it for Eeyore, I used it for Piglet, and I'm going to use it for Roo as well. I know they also have a yellow, but it's brighter than this. So I don't have another color that kind of would show the brightness of it. It's not neon by any means, but it is very bright. So, and it's just so disappointing because this color is so pretty. It's a very beautiful butter yellow that I know is super trendy right now. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm debating if I want to just run back up to that side of town tomorrow while both girls are at school and kind of take this with me probably and check out Michael's and Hobby Lobby just to kind of compare and see. The only thing is I don't really want to buy more yarn if I already have this and I need to obviously get it used up on something. But at the same time, even the texture of the yarn once it's worked up is just not quite as soft as the other ones. So right now I think Rabbit is going to be put on hold, and I'm actually probably going to end up starting on Roo this afternoon. And yeah, we will see what to do with this yellow yarn and what to do with Rabbit, and I will let you guys know what I decide. All right, guys, it is now Friday, and I wanted to jump in because I know yesterday I was talking about rabbit and what I wanted to do with the yarn. And if you paid attention to my last clip, I was definitely not working on rabbit. So let me give you guys some updates. First of all, I just finished Rue, so let me show you first what he looks like. I think he turned out so cute. I was really looking in the last clip at his tail, and I think if you look from the top of his head, I think it could have gone, let's see, this way, so this way, one more stitch, but I think it's okay. On the video, it looks not too bad. Like, it looks lined up almost in this direction. I think the stuffing helps a little bit, but ultimately, I think he turned out so sweet, so cute. He's got a little sun on him, and I just adore these patterns. They are so adorable. So that makes 4 friends done, which means I have 2 more to go, and that is Rabbit and Pooh. So let me tell you, with Rabbit, I ultimately did not work on him anymore yesterday after I updated you guys on how the yarn felt. I don't want to say I did some more soul searching, but I chatted with my husband last night. Actually, I decided to just put it on pause, start Rue, and that's what I was working on in the car yesterday afternoon while we were waiting to get my oldest from school. And that was just that. I hadn't made a decision. I just figured, let me just keep going, because I have gotten people messaging me already interested in getting the stuff that I've already made, the 3 characters I've already made from this collection. So I need to get the whole collection done so I can go on ahead and start taking orders. So I figured, let's just keep working on them. We'll make a decision and figure out what to do. When I stopped recording, when I started working on Rue yesterday, the whole afternoon, I should say, my thought process was today I would go and check out the Demi Pearl, I would go check out the Hobby Lobby yarn, and ultimately just buy one of those, and that would be Rabbit, and we would go from there. However, last night after my girls went to bed, I was talking to my husband about this problem. I was like, the yarn really stinks to work with. It's not making it any easier. I feel like I don't like the texture of how the Premier is working up in comparison to what I'm already using for the bodies for the rest of them, because it's so rough. And I feel like in pictures, that's not going to matter. And, maybe to most people buying them, it wouldn't matter if they bought the whole set or if they bought Rabbit with somebody else and Rabbit is a little bit fuzzier or just more texture looking to him, because bunnies are furry or whatever, so maybe they wouldn't care. But to me, as my husband knows, I am very particular about what yarn I use, the colors, what everything looks like. I want everything to be so cohesive and match and not be different in any way. That's not a good way to be, because it does make situations like this harder, but it is what it is. So I was telling him, this yarn from Bernat costs so much more, and I've already bought this yarn and it's really frustrating. But I also have been kind of playing with the colors a little bit, and I'm looking at the vintage colorways of these characters versus what is now more well known in the TV shows and everything that's coming out of these characters. What I found when I sat and I decided, let's just Google Rabbit and figure out what his color is supposed to be. Like, am I going to be way off? Is he actually brighter? Is he actually something, I Googled it, looked at him again. And the modern version is very similar to this color from Premier. So it's more of a bright, bold color. It's more warm, and it's really pretty. However, as I saw the vintage colorways, he is a bit more muted. And I think that is the direction I'm going to go, because I have, as my husband pointed out, I have leaned into somewhat of a more pastel, more vintage style for these. It's not fully the old colorways, but like I did, you know, pastel colors for Eeyore instead of gray. I did cream on Tigger's nose instead of yellow. My Rue, as I was telling him, I said Rue is even a lot more pastel than he could be, because the pattern actually has him as more of a caramel color. So I have even gone to a more pastel version of this. So that was that. And then the other thing that we brought up was I had said this yarn from Bernat is thinner than what I have used or will use or whatever on the other characters. And I said that's my only other concern, is that he's going to work up smaller. And I've actually sized down on the hook for this yarn that I'm using from Hobby Lobby, and it's not made a huge difference. Granted, I've only gone a step down from what I would typically use. It's not a step down from the pattern, but I have gone a step down, and it's not made a huge difference. I think all the sizes are still close enough together that it doesn't make a big deal. The other thing that my husband pointed out when we were talking about potentially using this is that Rabbit does have his ears standing up, and if I were to go with a thicker yarn like Demi Pearl, for example, for him, he's not only going to be about the same size as everyone else, but he's going to be so much taller because his ears are standing up. So with all of that to say, I've ultimately decided to switch my color for Rabbit. I am going to go with Buttercup from Bernat Baby Blanket, that line, and I actually ordered some last night, and the soonest it could get here is tomorrow, Saturday. So I figured let's just go on ahead and finish up Rue in the meantime while I wait for this yarn, and then we will go from there. I'm not sure if I'm going to start on Pooh yet. I know I wanted to wait and make him last, and there's no real rhyme or reason for that. I could go on ahead and get him started today, but I have also had a couple more orders come in on Etsy, which I'm very, very grateful for. And it's actually really funny because you guys have already seen me make the ladybug purse and the bitty cow lovey for orders. And that's exactly what has come through on Wednesday. Sorry, I was going to say yesterday, but it was Wednesday. Those two orders came through again, and I just couldn't help but laugh that it was the same thing. So I'm not sure if I am going to start Pooh yet, or if I want to just go on ahead and work on those, or start on one of those and try to get that done today while I wait for the yellow to come in for Rabbit. I am actually going to ponder that while I have some lunch, and then we'll just see whatever I decide to work on for the rest of the day and in the car line and everything. So yeah, that's where we are today. So if you haven't already, grab your hook, pick something to work on with me, and let's see in the next clip what I've decided. All right, it is now afternoon and I managed to finish up the cow lovey that I mentioned that I'd gotten an order for. I was actually able to get that done. I didn't vlog any of it, but I was able to get that done before I had to go pick up my youngest from preschool. And then in the car this afternoon, I started the ladybug purse, and I did vlog that, and I just wanted to show you guys how far I got. So I got the front piece made, and then I got all of the polka dots on there. 2 of them, I got the ends woven in, but I was trying to get them all done, so I just left the rest of them hanging. So I have that to work on, but I am going to end the vlog here. If you managed to watch this far, drop a ladybug emoji in the comments to let me know. And yeah, that's it, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.